Now recording.
Did Craig join?
Excellent.
Oh, we are live. All right.
Ah,
Welcome to the show. That's the show. We're here.
so that's the introduction.
That's it.
Okay. So let
Go
me
with the news,
see.
man.
Yeah. Biden finally signed the bill.
Woo! Body! Yeah!
That's good.
I guess
that. We got 2/3 of that $2,000.
right. Yeah.
Look
but
like
it's better than zero. I'm pretty sure if it were, like the Republicans just wanted to have us to have that 600 and done. Like that's the thing, but there's still, the question of all of these like incompetent. It differs by state, like unemployment departments. Some people has their like claims pending for like over a month now for like no reason. In fact, my whole February thing is pending, and it's okay. I'm fine. But they're telling me that like my local congressman office is telling me that it's because I need to reopen the claim because this one expired. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like they at the unemployment office automatically opened up this claim for me, and they said they were doing it my behalf, and they sent me an email. Got a little bit coming in January, and now you're telling me to like open a new. It's all just like they're juggling things around, tossing things from here to there, and like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing when it comes to these people. But I mean, those stimulus checks, boom, direct deposit, no having to fill out anything, thing. It's just done, and yeah.
clean.
Yeah, clean, exactly, clean. It's not a mess. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, this thing, but I'm really hoping that this is the third one, so it's like medium 1200, small 600, large 1400, that order.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we see after this, people not so like confused about like you just can't send money to people. It'll be the end of the world. And then we're just gonna be like, yeah, we did it 3 times before. Gonna keep doing it.
Keep doing it, man. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited.
mean, it's very weird. I mean, no, we have the virus to thank for that. It's messed up.
Yeah, it's true.
That sounds. It's messed up. But if it wasn't for the virus, this would be the second term of the Trump presidency.
True.
Biden owes his political career to the virus.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy when you think about it. And yeah, like I mean, could you imagine if the virus happened when Yang like announced he was running for president?
Nah.
But
That'd be weird.
no, but it would be.
Yeah, go ahead.
That his ideas would make more sense to everybody.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that would have been a good timing.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the world works in very strange, confusing ways, but oh well, that's just the way the ball bounces, But I don't know. It's like should I feel guilty that the virus accelerated UBI, and I'm happy for that?
No.
Yeah,
It-
no,
it-
screw it.
No, why would you feel
Um,
guilty about that? That's silly.
That's wasn't your fault. So
Right.
and
Let's think about when it makes sense to feel guilt. When we've done a
Yeah.
wrong
Right.
thing and we need to learn a lesson. And then after we learn the lesson,
yeah.
we should probably stop feeling the guilt, right? So there's
Yeah.
nothing to learn
Yeah.
here.
Sure.
Just-
no,
just-
actually,
just enjoy.
I did enjoy. I swear to you guys, the virus took me out of like a depression state. Like
A lot of people felt that way.
it was
It
it was
certainly
very
allowed
it
me to
was very
self-actualize more than I had before.
yeah it was so funny when I thought about it. It was like like before I we did this and you met me, Shale. Like my mom was trying to like coax me into like going back to school and
Yeah, of
getting
course.
another whatever the hell and
Sounds
I
a
was
little like
so
my
pissed.
mom.
Yeah and it was like she was like, oh well like I lost the Best Buy gig and that that like my on the phone sales job, I lost that too. So I was
Yeah.
just like and then I'm like no I don't want another freaking like another kind of like technical apprenticeship program or get another degree. To hell with that. And then they're like, oh, you have no choice, and then I'm like, oh no. And then the virus happened and I'm like, hey, I don't have to go to school again.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. You have no
Right.
choice. You have no leg to
Right.
stand on.
Right, exactly. And then I'm like, now you all don't have a choice. How
Yeah.
does that feel?
I mean,
You
when the world
know,
isn't working, a disruption has a lot of positive effects.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it was all like, well, now you guys finally know how I feel. It was like I was staying
Yeah.
home and unhappy, but you guys were all like, pointing fingers at me, and now you all have to stay home too.
Yeah, I was here anyway because of poverty, so it didn't make much
Right.
difference.
Right, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Jerks. But then now all the people who were constantly judging us for our situations and stuff like that find themselves in the same exact situation, and it's like,
And they still
guess
find
who
ways to
knows
judge.
yeah, I know,
They're
suck.
determined to
But
learn
we guess-
nothing ever.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like that Batman movie. It's like you merely like adapted the darkness. I was
Yeah,
born in it and I grew
That's
up
right.
in it,
I am the
so it's like
darkness.
right. It's like you merely adapted the quarantine.
Yeah.
I was born into it. It's like like no. I just naturally don't like big parties and stuff anyway, and large gatherings. So
Mixed
I
feelings,
was
like in the right headspace.
Yeah.
I can get into it, but it's intimidating. Too.
right. Yeah, and it would just bore me. Like then people would like run out of stuff to talk about, and then they just talk about some like nonsense, and the questions are always like, oh, like how was school or how was your job, and then it's like sucks.
Right. Right. I mean, there is such a thing as like a party full of cool people,
Right.
but you probably have never been to one.
but I mean, if I could admit, like
Uh,
only job that I really kind of loved working at was Best Buy, and even that was kind of like, yeah, it's okay.
yeah.
But I mean, I love working at the gaming section there. Like, don't get me wrong, and like being with the customers and shit. But I didn't really see myself doing that after like a year. I'd probably say like, okay, and there's no more like upward mobility and like work anymore. They just want you to do the most amount of stuff with giving you the least amount of pay, and everybody else is defensive of like their positions. They don't want you rising at all. Like the whole American dream thing is a load of shit from some wrinkled up 82-year-old's ass. And yeah, it's it's all bullshit. But I do I mean, like attack me if you will. I mean, this virus really like it said like, hey, idiots, like this, like what you're doing is stupid, and I'm just gonna prove it to you. And then it just like came in, and people were all like, duh, and it just showed us like how stupid our system is. Like New Zealand didn't have as many problems as we did when the virus came along because their leaders aren't idiots. In fact, like Jacinda Ardern is like awesome. Like she's pretty cool. And we just the virus just it took the mask off. It didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, you put a lot of masks on, but it took the mask off of the system and it put it all over our faces.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's a good analogy.
right. Yeah, so we all had to share in the mask.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And yet,
I
they're just
mean-
trying to put the cat back in the bag, put the mask back on the system
No,
now with Uncle
screw
Joe
that.
here.
No, I don't think that's gonna.
I mean,
work.
he did give the money, but because he promised during the Trump times to give the money, now he's trying to
Right.
get back to the hyper normalization of the the
Fuck
terrible
that. No,
status quo.
we're not gonna let that slide.
Well,
We're not gonna
this
let
is the
that
point where
fucking
we
slide.
tell him. So yeah, make sure we don't let that slide.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, don't you think that people are gonna start scratching their heads and start saying like, hey, the government can just do this all the time.
Some elites think that, and some think that common folk are just literally stupid and can be tricked all the time.
I mean, like, you do have a bit of a point there. Common folk can be really, really.
Some
dumb
people
and
can
just
be,
never
fooled,
like
but
critic
I mean,
thing.
well, look,
Yeah,
they've been
some people-
indoctrinated into a whole
Like,
system of.
critical
bullshit,
thinking skills are kind of like all but dead in the country we live in. But I mean, there's like a small little.
They're around. You just the people who
you
can't
got
do
kinda
anything
like-
with them because of the power structure.
You got kind of dig for them. Why are you turning off there, Tim?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I put up this whole setup, so I'll have my hands on. But the thing is that like it's I don't know how to explain this, but like I don't think people are just gonna like go back to work and be like, oh, nothing ever happened for the last year.
Yeah, well, that's what like the Biden administration's counting on. They're like, yeah, people are just gonna go back to work and pretend it's 1970 again, Jack.
Well, not with Andrew Yang running. In New
Well,
York.
no. I mean, here, God, I hope he wins. I will change my standard of like expectations if he wins for mayor, because right now, it seems like the establishment has like a almost complete success rate for crushing any upstarts.
But I think even though like you think Biden is like a really, really bad monster, like he has a bit of a working class background. Or
Yeah, he does.
And
so what?
and
He's
like
been rich for
Obama
fucking
was like
50 years.
right,
I don't care.
Obama was like the really, really like Harvard graduate.
So
and
he's
stuff
from
like that.
Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the office
right.
is from, right? And
Right.
is that where he's from? No, it's from Delaware. Is he's from Scranton originally, and he went to Delaware to be a congressman or some shit? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter
who
because
cares?
he's been rich on the take of the corporate, mafia for 50 years. So it doesn't really matter if he came from Scranton.
Well, I mean,
And you know what? Scranton's not even
Delaware
that
is-
bad. Scranton's kind of middle class.
But Delaware is like banking and credit card central,
Yeah.
so like,
God, it is. It's the
like, all
worst. It's where everyone incorporates because of the low corporate tax rate. What a stupid system we have where everyone incorporates in Delaware. If that's the fucking outcome of your system, don't you think
Delaware
there's
is
been
like
a
the
problem?
line. Yeah.
Like, can we look at if we just look at the outcomes of our system? There's no excuse for the politicians, but they never talk about the outcomes. They just talk about the method and pretend it works.
That's pretty pathetic. I don't know.
It's one of those shows where you
No.
got nothing to do but complain. That's why people don't watch our
Right.
shows.
Well, this thing though, but I mean, we have like recruited
Mhm.
people, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, this I'm pretty optimistic, just because he signed this, and then
Yeah.
people are gonna get those checks again. I mean, one is 2 as a couple, 3 as a crowd. Hopefully, in the case of like 3 stimulus checks that went out, it's gonna be like, well, we really want a 4th one, and then like, okay, we really want you know, I'm hoping it's like Prinkles. Once you pop the fun, don't stop.
I hope so too. I really do. But I mean,
but
we have to
Yeah.
wonder where our mechanism of pressure is. Where can we pressure Biden? What kind of
Yeah.
actual way do we even have to
Well,
indicate our
I mean,
feelings?
what makes like nachos or Prinkles like addictive is that it's like one after another, but unfortunately it was like one check, wait, second, wait, third.
Yeah.
I think like that's the kind of game that's being played, because I mean they could have just as easily made it like 3 months in a row, boom, boom, boom. But the thing is like, yeah, we don't want them to get used to it, so let's just like like let's wait until they get really desperate, and then be like here, and wait again until they get really desperate, and be like here, and then like, okay, you're not getting any more. But I'm just hoping that it's like, no. Like, we just saw you, and we just know that you can do this. So,
You
not
know,
getting away with not doing it.
when the pandemic is like, if the pandemic is ever over, we got to get you with a GoPro, going to like your city council meetings, going to like Democratic local meetings, going to like Republican local meetings. Just like, that's good.
Mhm.
We got to get you saying these
Yeah.
things there on camera, and then whatever the response is on camera.
Right. Yeah. It's funny that the Bastronaut, who's my congressman,
The
her name's
Bastronaut.
Karen Bass. like
We should start growing this channel. We should start giving you a show during a weekday where you interview someone, and it's like,
Yeah,
no one's gonna want to
yeah.
go on once they know what it's about.
right.
So we'll call it
anyway,
entrapment. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, that'll be cool. Anyway, so she she just had a town hall call yesterday, and my question didn't get to her, but they said like push 0 and they'll take in questions. But I guess when you have a constituency of a couple of thousand, like you can only take like 4 questions, and there's like a 500 people want to ask, and you'll never get through them. So, yeah. But it was really interesting. And guess who won the Senate seat? Kamlager. Figures.
Oh,
Not that Daniel Lee came in second though, but it's just typical that like she just copied like part of Daniel's stuff and just said like, oh, I held this assembly seat before, so I'm just entitled to get that Senate seat. And then the constituency was like, oh, okay, go. Yeah. God, I mean, God, what the
I can feel it
hell?
all the way. I can feel the disgust all the way from Hawaii, man.
Right, yeah, go all the way there. It's just no, like people are dumb. I'm so sick of them. Like everybody says, like, oh, like these people in these high positions need to save us. Well, then don't vote for people don't what the hell? Like the incumbency rate and I had this before. It's like, do you even do your research? Do you even figure out who these people are or what they want or like anything like that? No, it's just like, oh, well, like we want to take the path of least resistance and just vote the person who's been there before. They've been a lower position, so we'll just give them the higher one, even though we don't know what the hell they stand for or how. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been for the last part of the conversation, but I hope there's a lot of healing to go because when the pandemic happened, it was happening on the was it the Pluto and the Jupiter cycle or whatever. I was searching. I was watching a video on spirit science, and it's like it's during the time when like a pandemic's supposed to happen or something of great evil is supposed
like
to
this
come.
lunar phase or this
Yeah,
or
lunar
star
some
phase or
yeah, some kind of star phase is supposed to affect something, and this is the now. So, and then a year ago it happened, and it was something of great change to happen. So it's it's a lot of healing and change.
Well,
that's
I'm
what's
just
done.
hoping. Well, it was like after the Great Depression, and that was also in what, like the
The
1920s,
1930s.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
right. So like it's
And then there
almost
was
gonna be
the World
100.
War II, like right after it. So there was this 15-year period where Americans couldn't buy anything. They had the Great Depression. They had no money from 1930 to 1941, and the 1941 World War I started, and then they couldn't buy anything because of all the resources going to war production. All of our metal was going to the war. All of our stuff, all of our manpower, all of our factories were repurposed. So there was kind of a supply crisis of goods at that time in history, which you don't hear about, but that was the state of things. So there was a 15-year period where Americans could not buy shit, and suddenly they were the only country, the only big country in the world that wasn't decimated by the war. So they suddenly found they were flooded with riches, pretty much, and that's not the state we're in. So anyone who thinks we're going to come out into a 1945 style economic boom is wrong. They don't understand the underlying conditions of then or now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. But no, but it doesn't matter because we can just as easily do it with if we just got flooded with cash like the banks and the corporations did. But that's
if there was a
that's
UBI,
neither here nor
yes,
there
that would
right
change
now.
the situation. Then we would have a economic bigger boom than we've ever had in history. Yes.
Right. That's the thing. So,
but without that,
I don't
people
know,
would think it's
like,
just going to be a magical boom just because they love capitalism.
yeah. Of course, it's just idiots. Like, no, like, yeah, but yeah, it's kind of thing. But it, it's all in people's heads. Like, what's really stupid is like, oh, a UBI would be enough money, and it'll just make you lazy and not want you to like be productive. And at the same time, it'll inflate everything, so the money's gonna be useless. So if the money's gonna be useless, won't people have to work harder to make more, even with UBI? So it's like they're contradicting themselves.
Right.
It's so full of shit. It's like, like if I go to like Burger King tomorrow, like the Whopper or whatever the hell they have is gonna be like, like $100 more. Like it's gonna be like $100 just because of the stimulus check. But that's also gonna make you lazy, even though like more money is coming out. But even though it means you have to work harder to like earn more money to pay for that. Like these people are so stupid. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like, okay, but like here's the thing though, but at least we're making sure that people are never at 0 or below, because then it's just like, okay, like game over, like you lost. You're putting people's lives in that game over kind of situation. But even if there's like rampant inflation, as long as you have something or something is constantly coming in, there's ways for you to play with that. No matter how much inflation there is, then it's up to you to like find smart ways of like investing the money or starting a business or doing like that. And you can even like beat the inflation if it's at a variable rate. When it's just like nothing and nothing is coming in either, then it's like you're just screwed. And it's like people are so stupid they don't understand that. Like at least it's like if you can't play chess if you have no chess pieces, right? So just in case you lose some chess pieces, you get sent some so you can keep playing the games. But the thing is that if you just have none of those chess pieces at all, then it's like, what the hell are you even doing? So that's the part where some of these idiots, it's like you're like, yo, hello, dumbass, like over here, like, yeah. And like, but did all that 2008 bailout TARP money cause like massive inflation? I don't think so. Like, I mean, I think we also did the same kind of bailout thing in the early days of the pandemic. Like most of that money, like, weren't in the form of those $1,200 checks at all. Went to like a whole bunch of other things.
You know how much money you would have made if you put your $1,200 check into Ethereum when you got it?
I'm gonna
take a guess. If you had put your $1,200 first stimulus check into Ethereum the day you got it, how much money would you have today? Guess.
I don't know.
Just take a shot in the dark.
$1 million.
Not quite. Refluence. Guess.
Triple.
You think it tripled? So you
10 million.
Not quite 10 million. You'd have your $1,200 investment would now be worth $13,000. So you would have more than 10 times, 11 times. Almost 11 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,200 to 13,000.
We way overshot that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
but still, that's a nice investment, isn't it? Almost 11 times your investment.
Not bad.
Big.
Well, I wonder if you'd made more in GameStop, but not when you got it. Like, I
don't know. Maybe potentially. Yeah. I think potentially there was a chance to if you bought it and sold at just the right moments. But
Right. Yeah.
That's if you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're watching. Well, actually, there's a thing in trading where like you set something that like if it goes below that, it automatically sells it for you. So I mean that's the smartest thing. Like that's what I would do. I'd invest in something, I'd see it go up, and then I just say if it drops below this, like sell it to protect my gains. It's called like a stop loss. Yeah. So is that? Yeah. Like let's say I invested at GameStop when it was like what like $10, and then it like shot up to like 300. I put like a stop loss at like a 280. So if it's like so maybe some of it goes down, but those gains like over there, I protect them in there. And it's like boom, like don't touch it. Like just make sure because it would suck if it goes up to like 300 and then it goes back down to like 7, and then you're like like with that, right? So that's why I think like a stop loss is a pretty good idea. So it like if you're really greedy and it keeps going up, like that's good, but like if something ever does happen, it's like I'm not losing the bulk of these gains. That's for sure.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So there's that, and how we never learn about this at all is, hey, like why have investing when we have Shakespeare or some other dumb shit that we're never gonna waste our time on. Like you don't need like that kind of advice. Like come on, the Pythagorean theorem. We got like these dumb classes. You got like learning about.
I mean, a UBI makes both the investing class more valuable and the other class is more valuable, because if you if you want to take the investing class, you'll actually be able to do something because you'll have a UBI. You'll be able to actually invest. And if you don't want to take the investing class, you'll be able to live and like study Shakespeare if that's what you want to do. If all you want to do is study Shakespeare, you can do it. Fine. You make your contribution.
Which kind of reminds me of the like oh shit. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it's oh yeah, this is it. It's kind of like telling someone who can't get pregnant, like, oh, here's a class on raising your baby and like feeding it and stuff like that. It's like, oh well, like they can't have one. Like what's the point? Like, unless they adopted, but at the same time, like if they couldn't adopt and if they couldn't have one of their own, but you're like, oh, like you should really take this class on like how to take care of a child, even though you're like barred from adopting and you can't have a child yourself. It's like, okay, but like, where are we getting at here? Like that, that's what I always found stupid about like.
That's like this documentary I saw a long time ago, and there was a gay couple who adopted, and they were just so proud of how hard it was and how they did it anyway. And they're like, oh no, it shouldn't be any easier for other gay couples. They should suffer like we did. Like, what kind of a psychotic maniac are you to wow, what a psychopath you must be to just that's just malice. What the hell?
I know, pure malice, pure malice from the mofos.
That's the sort of thing we're getting from on high. In all vectors of society. Yeah.
Right. No, because like what is it like the douche bagonization of like people?
Yeah.
In a word. Like, I mean, which is really stupid because everybody's kind of talking about Meghan Markle right now, and like, who cares? I guess like she's rich and has like tons of money, and so does Oprah. So like
I don't know
that.
who are we talking? Who's this person? Meghan Marble?
Oh, Markle, the whole Queen of England thing, Prince
Mm,
Oh yeah,
Harry
there's
and stuff.
drama.
doesn't ring a bell.
There's
Good for
drama.
you. Good for you that you're not.
I don't pay
You,
attention
you
to
don't
that
even
shit.
care. Like yeah, it's not relevant to our lives or
Yeah.
how we're gonna live them or
I don't
what's
watch
gonna
legacy
happen. And yeah, it's all garbage anyway. So
Yeah, I
like
don't
thing
watch
and
garbage
then,
legacy media.
right, I know. Well, I mean, their legacy is going to be a legacy of like lies and hypocrisy and propaganda. Anyway, I mean, that's their
Well, the
legacy.
point in
Their-
calling it legacy now is is to emphasize
yeah,
the
I
fact that it's
know,
already
but
over.
their actual legacy is just going to be like a stain.
Well,
That's really gonna
they'll
be
try to
hard
point to
watch.
their better earlier years in remembrance. But
Right?
that's neither
Yeah,
here nor there.
but they became a stain a long time ago. Just
yes,
like
yes, they
the
did.
collective underwear of America has this big brown mark on it from all these dirty, disgusting people.
Yes, that's true. Well,
These incontinent. I wonder if they're incontinent in addition to being incompetent.
this is
Like
Bruh.
this is pretty
yeah,
crazy.
like-
man.
yeah. I know that they said Trump was.
What are we talking about?
Trump had
lost the
to be
plot here.
changed on. Trump had to be changed on set because he'd soiled himself.
Is that right?
Oof.
I was looking at like Media's Touch or something like that.
What did I
explain
just say? This is
something.
true about. What were we talking about?
Oh, about legacy media.
Oh yeah, no, it's true that their media they are over and
Morons.
they're more.
Suck.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and then you said something about a diaper. That was it, right? That was it.
Oh yeah, no. I said that they're gonna be like a collective brown stain on the underwear of the country.
That's right. That's what it was.
Right,
Yeah, I'll support that. I'll support that metaphor. We gotta do something
I mean,
about this.
like
this
no,
whole thing.
like I hated legacy media from the get-go. Like this was not this was as early as like 6th grade for me. I mean, like I
I loved it until I got the internet.
Right. I mean, even when I didn't have the internet, I just look at like the news and I'd be like, who in their right mind would give half a shit about like all of this, stupid idiotic drama? Like I didn't even like. I was like, oh, okay. Like they're talking about some overpaid, overprivileged idiot who did something stupid, who got into trouble, and now the whole world has to know about it. Like, why? Like, what the hell is wrong with you people? I was like, I didn't get it. I just didn't get it, right? You get it? Dang, you get it? Like, I didn't get it.
People, but do we not get why people watch the old news or?
Well, I didn't get why it's important to know about some celebrity doing something stupid.
No, we're just being distracted. This is absolutely not important. Is the thing. It's like,
right?
I don't care.
Like, oh, okay, so like Justin Bieber goes and like eggs somebody's house and drives with a DUI, and now everybody has to like, like I talked about this in the last Ariel the Avalanche episode. I said like, if you did this stupid, crazy crap, like you would have ruined your life. Like nobody would want to like hire you. System. Yeah. Right, exactly. Like your life is like, that's it. Like like no one will want to hire you. Like your friends and family would probably think you're nuts, so they won't want to talk to you, and like you'd lose your reputation and stuff like that. Yeah. Do it as a celebrity, and you're like all these talk shows are going to get you on. The paparazzi's going to want to take pictures of you. You're just going to laugh it off, and everybody's going to forget until the next celebrity does something like either illegal or stupid or just plain rude, and then it's just like a cycle, and it's like, wow, like, yeah, there really is a two-tiered system here. Like, average people like us, who gives a shit? Like, oh, put them in jail, or like they'll never get hired again, or they're gonna be broke. But hey, like some rich celebrity who lives on like Rodeo Drive in like the Hollywood Hills, it's like, oh wow, like let's get them on our talk show and give
So
them
return to
tons
the
of money.
feudal system. We've got
know,
nobles
yeah,
and commoners
yeah.
now again.
Right, exactly. So like the entire system can go fuck itself for all I'm concerned. Yeah,
We've got to do something to make it fuck itself.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it already is. I mean, we had the virus and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's funny. Like in the early days of the virus, like we kept on learning about like all these like super rich, super famous people who like already had it. It's like, oh, and then Kobe Bryant. Oh, like, well, Kobe Bryant died, but like all these like basketball players and like football players like all had the virus, but I'm sure that like most of them didn't die from it. So like that kind of goes to show you. But I remember like in the early days of the virus, they kept saying like all these like celebrity people was like has tested positive for COVID-19, has tested positive for COVID-19. Maybe like tons
Hanks.
more people tested. Yeah, maybe we all had COVID-19 and just kind of like went through us and didn't even notice it.
For many people, that was the case.
Right, yeah, crazy, huh? Yeah, and so we had to be in this state of like stress and worrying and like all that stuff when it already like passed through us, so like I don't know. It's kind of insane.
Herd immunity.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as they said in the I always remember the. Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking about what you said about like the media. They like to make money. The media they just make money off of like controversial stuff. So it just depends where you look, basically. But that's for the mainstream. Like I don't really watch mainstream. I just go on Reddit just to see like positive things. Like even if there's like
the only place the media is looking is in the back of the dumpster. Just go ahead.
Right. It's just shit. It's just not good.
Right.
It's trash. And so I just keep my eye on like healthier stuff, like wholesome.
Good.
Like if there was a news resource, it would be like Reddit for me.
Right.
But there's a lot of negative things on Reddit too. But you just gotta look at the right place.
Yeah, you at some point, like you gotta like roll with the punches and stuff. So there's always that aspect of it.
Yeah,
but,
that's it.
It's just like, why does there have to be so many punches? I mean, like we are a species that we've seen that's like capable of critical thinking and space travel and like healing and innovation and stuff like that, and yet the mainstream is mostly trash. It's I don't know, it's pretty scary, and the way like we educate ourselves and like we kill off the best parts of us just to conform with like a shit system that doesn't make any sense. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, like we have this big landmass called the United States, and most people like can't even afford to like go to another city without having to like take an extra shift, and sometimes not even then. So it's like, do we really have freedom? Like, I mean, I don't know what you want to call freedom. Is freedom just being able to say whatever the hell you want, or having access to things and places and stuff?
I think to some people, the most problematic people, freedom is simply a strict adherence to an arbitrary logic of the market. So that's not really freedom at all, but that's what they actually mean. They're like, no, he's going to follow the rules of the market, which is just terrible.
The market is like an oppressive, like freedom destroying entity anyway. Like it's kind of ironic. Like okay, let's say like 100% freedom. It's like you could just go into the supermarket and you could just like take whatever the hell you want and just like run away with it. It's like, hey, like I'm free to do anything. Like, so I guess like when consequences are introduced, that's when freedom is limited. So I mean, if like a cop stopped you because you haven't paid for this stuff and that's stealing, but then if it's like 100% freedom, it's like be free to like steal and hurt people and like be a predator and like do whatever you want. So like, I mean, we don't want that, but it's also like freedom in a sense where how can I say this, that at least you know that you have a basic level of access to the necessities of life and a bit more. So that's what I would call freedom, because poverty is a restriction on like all sorts of freedoms. Because if you live in like an area where like a car is like a necessity and public transport is pretty bad,
you're not free.
You're not gonna have
the type of freedom you're describing is codified. Right. It's been discussed at length, and the key word is freedom from want. Freedom from want is the concept that you are not free if you are impoverished.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that one when you just bring it up. Just like, we don't have freedom because we don't have freedom from want. And then you immediately, when like 5 words, people be like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. And then there's the whole thing like freedom of speech. But I mean, speech is only effective if people actually not only listen to it, but act upon it in some form or fashion. If you're like, let's like freedom of speech, like, you're ordering your burger from McDonald's and you say like, you want him to like take out the cheese or something or the tomatoes, and he doesn't do that. I mean, you still said it, but nothing really happened. So I mean, technically that's still freedom of speech. But if there's not like a receiving person like hearing your speech and acting upon your speech, freedom of speech is kind of like a moot point, right? Like you can be that lunatic on the side of the road, like screaming something incoherent, but it doesn't get anywhere and it doesn't do anything. So there's the freedom of speech, and if I mean you have freedom of speech in like in the middle of the forest.
Sure.
So what? Like
where no one can hear you scream.
No one can hear you scream. Right, exactly. So I mean, you have freedom of speech like in the elevator. There's like nobody in the elevator and no one can hear you. But at the same time, you'll also have freedom of speech, when some random guy comes in the elevator and then you like want to initiate some kind of conversation or something, or if you're just talking about something that the guy doesn't like, it's just going to be like a really awkward like thing until the guy gets off the floor. Where he has to go. But I mean you see how stupid this is. Like so what? Like it has to like be in a venue. It has to mean something. There has to be like some kind of goal involved, or else like the freedom is it's kind of a moot point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You has to be in the right situation to like occur some kind of knowledge.
Oh! I just connected something, you guys. Hang on. Okay. The elevator thing I was talking about to the attention economy, right? Because everybody talks about, like, if you're ever in the business world or in the networking world, what's your elevator pitch?
Mm-hmm.
It just pisses me off to no, like, I don't know, like, thing, like to just such a degree that it's like, okay, like we live in such a stupid, idiotic system that if we get lucky and there's some, like guy with a high position and we manage to see them in an elevator and there's like 1 minute or 30 seconds before they hit a floor and they have to leave the elevator, we have to make ourselves like wantable enough, or is that desirable? That's the word I'm looking for. In that 30 seconds by the words that come out of our mouth, or else like we're not worthy in the business world. It's like, how stupid is that? Like they're coming into the elevator like distracted or confused, or they don't even know who the hell you are. Like you're supposed to like introduce yourself and have some kind of like business presentation prepared just in case you get that chance of that random CEO coming in the elevator.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
a thing to plan for, right?
Get the fuck out of here.
Not a thing you can really plan for at all.
Right, exactly. And this is our capitalism. if I would, it's like no, like it's much better to have like 5 minutes, 10, not like 30 seconds or a minute tops, because people's lives are complicated, people's histories, there's like all sorts of things that happen. I'm gonna need more than like a minute in a freaking elevator to like make my pitch. And this is why like everything is just like that meme. It was like write, in school, you have to write like all these 5-paragraph essays, these 10-page research papers. And when you go out there in the world, people are just like, if it doesn't interest me in 5 seconds, I'm out of here. Like, fucking stupid.
Yep.
It's like, do we not see the contradictions and all this stuff? And it doesn't even have to do anymore with like being a liberal or conservative or like a libertarian or all those other stupid labels. It's just like, okay, it seems like we were kind of like given a training program for something that never existed for our training program. It's like thousands of dollars, millions of dollars of taxpayer money were spent on these schools to put our generation in a training program to prepare us for something that never existed once we got out. And I think we deserve compensation for that, right? From stimulus,
From the brainwash.
if you're gonna waste taxpayers' money on sending me to school to like learn a bunch of stuff that's become irrelevant the minute that I got out, just give me that money directly. Don't spend it on these schools. I'll learn much better myself. Seriously. Like when I got like a good chunk of change to like travel independently, that's when I really learned the most of like reading a map, riding the rails, buying things, and I had this Pog Wi-Fi, so yeah. Right. But no, like I was traveling in
Romantic
in
hobo
style.
imagery,
It was a
riding
good
the
chunk
rails.
of change.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, like riding the bullet train rails, not like that kind of
No,
like
I know
hobo
what you
stuff.
mean.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
what
just
like
funny.
in yeah,
a
I know it's
bindle,
funny.
can of beans,
But
clown
but
shoes.
in Japan, they have like the rail system is just awesome.
Oh, it's way better
I
than
mean,
ours.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
mean, like
Why can't we have a
ours
bullet train?
trash,
Because
like,
of the car lobby. Because of capitalism.
Right, exactly.
Why
because of all
can't we
these
have the best thing?
scumbags.
Because of the economic system that always gives the consumer the best thing. Oh, okay. Ba-da-da-da.
But it's like that's the thing. It's not the best thing. It's the worst thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's just,
it's
tiresome.
absolutely disgusting. It's
tiresome.
tiresome. It's stupid. And I mean, like, yeah, if I was just given the resources directly instead of all this crap, yeah, I mean, just be great, like that's that's what it is. But I mean, like, once you got like your reading, your writing, your comprehension to like a certain level, I mean that you basically need that to be functional. And instead of like having these schools wasting our time on a whole bunch of shit that's like based in theory. I mean, we talked about this. It's like, okay, like, okay, so like you still have like the help of your parents and the protection of the school. So why don't you just get to know like what opportunities would be available to you and get a head start on those instead of just being given a stupid piece of paper once you graduate and just, what was it, like going up shit creek without paddle is like what they do to like all the youth because they're fucking idiots, when they can really be teaching you like like that's why I kind of like work study. Like why don't you just do the work study in high school, you idiots? Why you want to do it in like college? Like so many years of our life that's like burnt for no reason. It's just dumb.
Yeah,
yeah.
I barely remember like a bunch of the things I learned in middle school, high school. Like it's just basic knowledge
like
by this point.
right, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because like it's like foreigners can come here and I mean they can hardly even speak the language, but they can get around because they have money. While you have people with like shit tons of education, born and raised here, but they don't have access to anything because of their money. I mean, people come from other countries to like the United States all the time and get to see multiple cities, multiple states, multiple places, and then you got like some like third generation American who's like parents fought in like Vietnam or I don't know, and they're just like stuck in this like soul crushing poverty. I mean, even though they may have like a degree or two, while like foreigners can come here and just because they have money, they can like do whatever the hell and have a good time and just go back. While the person who's been living here for their whole lives is just trapped and stuck and miserable. I mean, does that make any sense to anyone? Right?
Yep.
Doesn't make sense to me.
It's like there's a difference. There's a difference of what you're born with or what's the situation.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. But it like amazes me like a foreigner would like know more and visit more of this country and someone who actually lives here because their economic situation has kept them stuck in the same place with the same people with the same shit job with the same everything for years on end, and it's, I don't know, looks like it's a form of indentured servitude, and like upward mobility is like a myth, but then it just takes like like one freaking kid can make like all these stupid like unboxing videos on YouTube and make enough money that like they're never gonna have to work another day in their life. And they made that money at like 13 because like thing and it's gotten to the point where like some of these like parents or they were adoptive parents were like playing pranks on this kid and putting him through like all this like emotional and psychological stress and pain and like even depression just to make it like go viral, just to get some like clickbait, just to get like the incentives are so gross. They're so inhumane.
That's actually
like nobody. Yeah, go ahead,
that's not good.
Yeah,
that's
it's not good. Like we don't talk about like honor or dignity or morality. It's all just like just become an attention whore for the camera and like pitch some kind of product, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
it's like the
like
more
like a unboxing of like random items.
Right, exactly. It's like, look, like morality, integrity, being a decent human being. Forget about it. Just like attention whore mode. Like keep trying to pitch your product. Keep trying to get a person to buy, and everything else be damned. Like this is the only thing that matters in your life is how you can sell either your labor or your idea or just sell. Like nothing else matters. Sell.
Well, they're just riding the algorithm wave because there's a trick to it.
Right, exactly.
There's like I've heard of this. There's a lot of people trying to like do a lot of content to make the algorithm watch their videos,
Right.
so more people watch their videos.
So we're basically living amid a system that basically says screw or be screwed.
Right.
Right?
It's
like either you screw that guy or I'm gonna screw you. Then if I don't screw you, my manager's gonna screw me. So like no,
Yeah.
like that. Like every sales job is like that.
Yeah.
Like either you screw this guy into getting this credit card, gonna make him an indentured servant to our debt, or I'm gonna screw you. Because if I don't screw you into you screwing that guy doing this thing, then my manager is gonna screw me. And if my manager does screw me into screwing you into screwing him, then his boss is gonna screw him because I didn't screw you into screwing him, screwing that guy, and screwing that other. What the fuck? You know?
I'm already brain dead.
It's just like a chain.
Yeah.
It's like a conga line of like unscrupulous assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh well, you know, you just gotta break yourself from the chain and do what you not necessarily do what you want, but do what you love and be really good at it, so people notice you
and have a good time while you're doing it. You know,
right?
And that's what it's all about. I mean, I love making people laugh. That's for sure. And that's what we need. We just need a couple of really good, gestures to just talk about how incredibly stupid this entire system is. I mean, it's not just like this is why I hate progressives. It's like I don't hate. No, I'm not. I dislike them sometimes because there's a way to have fun when you're talking about how stupid this system is, instead of just all this like righteous indignation and cancel culture and like getting offended. Like, and that's why I love Yang. Like, he could laugh at like how dumb the system was, and sometimes that gets people more on your team than if you just want to like attack. You know?
I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so it goes.
Like a conga line of lies. Just I mean that's why like at least if you have like a family that actually cares, it's pretty good, because everybody else is looking to like screw. It's like no, they're not gonna like buy you dinner or anything, but
true.
Like even the women are looking to like screw, but it's like financially it's like almost everybody, because it's made it into a system where it's like everybody's worried about some kind of payment they have to make. So if it's a sales job, it's like the pressure and like
We've been saying the same thing.
Pressure builds up.
I'm saying the same thing over and over again pretty much every time we do this show. And especially this episode, we've been saying it for like an hour, and it just sucks, man. It's true. It's funny, but like, man, getting tired of it. We keep saying it, and it's like, it does. Maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I gotta go. I gotta call this particular stream here. We'll be
okay.
We'll be back.
All right.
Thanks.
Cool.
You guys.
Not done. All right. See you guys later.